Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Ehigh, coming to you live from Mobile, Alabama with your, I don't know, like I said, so many episodes we can't even count no more. Welcome to Journey with Trish. Tonight's episode is going to be magnificent, and I'm so excited to talk to you tonight about living with lupus with some of my girls. But before we get started, as usual, let me go ahead and give our medical disclaimer. If you are having any type of medical or psychiatric emergency, I am not your medical provider tonight. I would have you to reach out to your primary care provider, dial 911, or visit your local emergency room. Having said that, let's start over here to my direct right side. Who do I have over here?
Hi, my name is Felicia. That's who I am.
That is who you are. Tell them a little bit about what you do if you like to.
Okay, cool. So what do I do? I am a grief coach. I am an end of life coordinator. I am a family legacy consultant. I am a tax preparer. I'm a mother. I'm a minister. I am a plethora of things. So we'll just leave it right there for right now.
And over here to my left, who do I have?
It's me. I'm Heather. Let's see. I work in the school system as a registrar. I have a beautiful family. Hey, Mackenzie. Hello to my boo. And I'm from Daphne, and I have been living with lupus for 20 years.
20 years. So yes, lupus is going to be, you can go ahead and it's pinned to the top of my page. Lupus is going to be our topic for tonight. And how I actually decided to do this episode is directly related to the both of you. Heather, you were in the hospital maybe about 2 months ago. You were in the hospital.
Nah.
How long has
No. Let me tell you something, sis. I just got out the hospital Monday.
But before that time, you were in there for because it was around Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
it was around Mardi Gras.
And everybody was saying they hope I get out before Mardi Gras because I love Mardi Gras so much. Yep.
Yes. So during that time, it made me also think about Felicia, who I know who also has lupus, and I was like, you know what, we should do a show on lupus. And so I reached out to the both of you. And here we are. So I'm going to have both of you kind of tell us about your plight with lupus. What I have seen, because, I work in psych now, so I don't see a whole lot of lupus. But what I have seen is people that I'm treating for mental health symptoms that they're dealing with as a result of being diagnosed with lupus. But what I see is that there are so many different, what's the word?
Variations.
Of lupus.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, turn your volume down.
I got to, friend.
It seems to affect everybody in a different way. So I'll start on my left. Tell me, you were 20 years old. 20 years ago. How did that happen? How did you get diagnosed?
Well, I had a swelling. I actually used to be a track star, and I used to run when I went to college. And I got up one morning to go run, and felt like I had a Charlie horse. My left leg was just hurting real bad. So I iced it. I did heat, the normal stuff that you would do. And it just swelled up to like 3 times bigger than my normal leg size. So that was the first, I say the second time because I broke my arm before. But that was one of the first times I went to the emergency room. We went to the emergency room. One of my friends took me to the emergency room. And I went to the hospital and literally did not get back out. Like, I was in there for 3 months while they tried to figure out what was wrong, what was going on. And I had a friend whose aunt had lupus really bad. But like, some people don't have it, as aggressively as I do. But hers was like, just like mine. All the stuff that was happening to me was just like rapid. It just kept happening. And he was like, I don't want to scare you or nothing, but my aunt got something called lupus. You might have never heard of it, but I think you got lupus. And so he told the doctor, when the doctor came back, to come in the room, and they did the red blood, white blood, ANA, all of that. Boom. They come back in with some papers, and they're like, you got lupus. And I'm like, all right, give me these papers. Let's go. No, it didn't happen like that. Like, I literally, like, from that moment, being almost 20 and in college and just being the person that I was. I mean, I'm the same person now, but like, just imagine this at 19, like all of this.
Yeah.
And then it's just shut down immediately by a disease. Like, that's how aggressive it got up on me. I couldn't go outside without being covered up. Like, my skin was breaking out. My hair didn't fall out until way later, but it was just so much stuff that was going on. Then I couldn't get out of the hospital. And people are afraid. That's one thing I done learned. People are afraid of illnesses that they don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
And they're also afraid too that something might happen to you while you're in there. So they don't come see you. So 3 months went by, and I mean, no shade to anybody that may be watching this, but 3 months went by and I only saw certain people.
Yeah.
And I felt a way because I was like, this is me going through this, and nobody ever seen me like this. And you ain't even gonna come and say, hey, you all right? You alive? You nothing. And that made me, be aggressively wanting to learn more about lupus, wanting to be able to tell other people about lupus so they wouldn't be that way towards me, because I've always been this way, that like personality wise and just, seemingly friendly. I'm friendly, but I'm not. But either way, like, you seemingly friendly and people can't approach you because now you sick. That hurt me at being 19, almost 20 years old. And it's still kind of like that because people don't know enough about it. So I feel like people don't know how to reach out when they reach out to me. They just say, oh, well, we praying for you, and I mean, and that's all good if you are, but it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional for me because I could literally be sitting right here and stand up. It happens a lot. I need a hip replacement. Stand up and get ready to walk over there and pop down, and you think I'm going to do a dance, but I'm really
in pain,
trying to get my hip together so I can walk to my car peacefully without it dislocating.
Right.
That's not what I want to be doing at 40, but that's what I've been doing since I was about 27.
Yeah.
Dealing with this. So it's like I said, when people don't know how to reach out because they don't know enough about lupus, it's hindering us from, interactions that I feel like are missed, and times that I feel like I've missed emotional connection with people because they be like, oh, you got lupus? I'm so sorry. Like, no, I didn't say, oh, I died. So what do you mean? Like, what are you sending your condolences for? Like, no, because genuinely, I just want to be a normal person. And I say this all the time to, people that know me. I want to be just like somebody else.
You want to be treated like you would.
Yeah,
treat
and I want to feel for myself like I am just normal, but I know that there's certain things within the range that I have to do because I've been dealing with this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I know what I need to do, but it doesn't always work out with pre-thinking it and pre-planning it, because like you said before, God got other plans.
Right.
And that will be our first take home for tonight, because honestly, I think as a community, we could do better reaching out to people who are in the hospital in general. And I've talked about this before. My mama used to always say, don't ever get sick for more than a few days because people will forget about you.
Yeah.
She literally used to say that. And she ended up getting sick and being homebound for years. And she was absolutely correct. People, like, they'll come see you for a couple days. And then the longer you stay, they do kind of forget about you. And then you do have some people who I've always felt like, those people were a little bit selfish. Like, they'll say things like, oh, well, I didn't want to see you like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to be
like this,
but here I am. And so anybody out there that's listening, or everybody that's out there listening, I would urge you, if you have somebody that is going through not even just lupus, going through anything, reach out and be there for that. Because you've heard it right here tonight from Heather that you're in the hospital for 3 months or in your house for 3 months. You need somebody. Y'all know what it was like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Being shut in. People do need somebody to reach out and just know that you're there for them.
Yeah.
Tell me about how things happen for you, Felicia.
So September of this year will be 6 years that I've had lupus. And I didn't know until I saw my rheumatologist in 2018 till I was officially diagnosed that I had symptoms of lupus my entire life. So the way that what ended up happening for me was I didn't feel good for a couple of days, but I would still go to work. And then I had gotten a swelling on the bottom of my left leg, I believe. And it was just swollen. I had to go to my son's game, all this stuff, and was limping and all that. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna stay home tonight. Stay home today. I'm not going anywhere. So that night I would get up and I would walk to the bathroom, and it was literally from here to that wall. That was where my bathroom was. And when I would come back and lay down, I couldn't breathe. I was short of breath. And I was, panting, trying to get everything together. And so when that happened about the third time, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, okay, God, do I need to get up and go to the emergency room to see what's going on with me, or are you going to cover me through the night? Like, I'm having a real conversation here because I don't know what's going on. And I felt like he told me, you don't need to go to sleep. You do not need to go to sleep. So I got up, took myself to Thomas Hospital. And when I got down there, they took me right back. The woman said, you look like a ghost. So when I got in there, they admitted me. They gave me all these different, they did all these different tests and stuff. And they admitted me, saying that I had to have blood transfusions because they thought that that's what it was. I've been anemic my whole life, right? So they felt like I needed blood transfusions. But while I was there, because I was having rheumatoid problems, because I've had carpal tunnel since I've been 16, the woman said, I'm going to do a rheumatoid panel on you, which are the tests that Heather was talking about, the ANH, the red and the white blood cells, and a few more things. So they did that, and they sent me home under the pretense of me getting myself together to have a hysterectomy, right? Because they were trying to eliminate the need for, the me losing blood. But while I was gone, I ended up with blood clot. Just so many different things. And I went for a follow-up, and the lady was like, well, yeah, have you ever heard of lupus? I was like, yeah, I've heard of it before. I have a really good friend and she has it. She was like, well, your ANH came back positive and you have lupus. I was like, girl, y'all done gave me congestive heart failure. Y'all done gave me high blood pressure, all this. Y'all not finna give me no lupus. I was like, I don't even have anybody in my family with it. So no, I can't have it. And she was like, well, you need to go see a rheumatologist so that you can be officially diagnosed. That was February. I'm sorry, that was September of 2017. Now, during that time, I worked as a paralegal, and I didn't have health insurance through my job. So I was having to pay for things out of my pocket. So can you imagine when now I'm having all these, I need to go to all these doctor's appointments. So the tank getting empty, right? And, but nobody would touch me until I saw a rheumatologist. Yeah. And so I ended up getting insurance, but the problem was I couldn't get an appointment to see a rheumatologist until January the 2nd of 2018. So from September until January, I was in and out the hospital. So after they let me go that time, I was in and out of the hospital, and then I had to end up going back in for an emergency hysterectomy. And it was a lot that I endured that time. And so when I got to see my rheumatologist, he was like, there's lupus and then there's lupus. You have lupus and your body is trying to kill you. I have the SLE, the systematic lupus. And he put me on this rigorous treatment, and I was 150% unrecognizable. Whenever I got on the prednisone, I was taking 32 pills a day, literally just trying to sustain my life. I went into a sunken place. I was mad. One of the things that we deal with lupus is mood swings. And so I was just mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at, I'm like, I ain't that bad of a person. Like, why did why? And I remember having a conversation with God, and I was like, listen, if you just give me a little bit longer to wrap my mind around what's going on with me right now, I will give my life to you, and I will forever give you the glory. And whatever your will is for my life, I'll accept. I'll say maybe about a week or two after that, things just drastically changed because like I just gave it all to him. And so I started this journey of looking at holistic ways of healing and, a lot of different natural homeopathic ways. And I started eating vegan, and I started doing all these other things that was a lot different than what we do in society, right? Mm-hmm. And I ended up being able to go into remission for like 2 years until I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm good now. Let me just start back eating whatever. Like, let me just act a fool, right? Let me act like Heather was saying, like I want to be normal. Let me act like I'm normal again. And my body for like the last year has been like, nah, boo boo, you forgot me over here.
Right.
And the problem with lupus for me is people don't get it. Like, I'm okay now, but nobody realizes how much pain I have in my body. And you have to pretend to be so strong and okay all the time that when you're not okay, when it changes just like that, how Heather was saying, if she gets up and she's having that pain or that discomfort, and then because of what's going on internally, when that happens just like that, the judgment is so serious. It's like, well, you was just over there laughing and joking right then, or you was over there doing this, that, and the other.
I can speak to that.
And it's like, just because I was doing that doesn't mean I wasn't hurting, or doesn't mean I wasn't in pain. But at the same token, I might have not been in pain right then. But everything changes momentarily with lupus. I can be okay one moment, the next second I can be feeling like I'm about to die. I'll get like, it's just so many different things. And because there's so many different variations of it, and it affects, nobody that has lupus experiences the same thing.
I absolutely believe that.
Now, we have a lot of the same symptoms, some of the same issues, but they're different. My lupus affects my heart, right? But it also affects my joints. And it also affects my muscles, right? I also have fibromyalgia. So when you put all that into a pot and stir it up, like, that hurt. And for me, if I can keep my pain on a level of 4 and under, you would never know I was in pain, because I can keep it at bay. And that little bit of like, it's like you feel that there, right?
Yeah,
that's a difference. But instead of this, whenever it gets like this, okay, it's a little bit more uncomfortable. But now imagine me taking my whole body and laying it on you. That's a different type of situation. So when I get past a level of 7 pain or 8 pain, it's like, okay, where the medicine? I'm grateful to God I don't have to take any medicine anymore, and I haven't been in the hospital since 2019. That's a blessing for me, and I'm grateful for that. But it's not that I haven't had challenges though. And I'm just going to be honest, and I'm sure Heather can attest to this. I don't necessarily like going to doctors, because when something's wrong, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, it's your lupus.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I go to the doctor, I don't even tell them I got lupus until after they have did some type of work, you know what I'm saying? And did some type of tests and stuff. Or either you're going to have to go through my chart to see what's going on with me. Because if I tell you that I have lupus, you're not going to look into it to see if it's really an issue outside of lupus. You're just going to pin it on lupus.
Right.
And y'all, I can tell you, they are absolutely 100% correct, because it even happens, like, I work in psych, and it even happens there. Somebody may come in and they're, having some altered mental status. And so directly, you immediately start thinking it has something to do with their schizophrenia or something, when all the time they might have a UTI and be delirious. So that absolutely happens. And I know that we do not give other people's pain the respect that it deserves. Yes. I'll tell you from experience as well there. As a provider, people will come to me and tell me, okay, well, what's your pain level? It's a 7. Okay. Well, what's the best it gets? Well, it's always there. It might get to a 3 or 4. And I'll be sitting there like, ain't no way she's going to sit and tell me she just hurt all the time.
Oh, yes.
Until I got diagnosed with arthritis in my neck. And I am telling you, I felt so bad for the people I had judged over the years, and thinking there is no way you hurting all the time. So tell me, because you actually go in and out of the hospital a lot. So how does it affect, like, you got a family at home, you work full time. So how does it affect you? How long were you in the hospital this last time?
Just a day.
Okay.
But it affects me because like she said, I also have fibromyalgia, I have lupus, I have avascular necrosis in both my hips and need a total hip replacement.
Jesus.
It's affecting my kidneys. I have had stage 3
me
kidney
too.
And then it reversed. Don't know how, but you know I know how. God.
Right.
But anyway, just a lot of pain and discomfort that I have endured for years just because of like not wanting to be a burden to somebody.
Right.
And I mean, just not like I said before, I don't want to be shady, but you have to tell the truth. It's affecting my kids. And it's just, look, you did the same thing I did. You did the same thing I did, friend.
Sorry.
Cut it down. It's that Samsung. It's that Samsung. If you had an Apple, you would have knew what to do.
But
I cut mine down immediately though. You was delayed. You was delayed, friend. Now, like I was saying, friend, golly, like I was saying, jeez.
She done looked up Samsung that threw you all off track.
Man, no, but I'm just saying it was Samsung. But anyway, so like I said, over the 20 years being in and out of the hospital, I didn't get full control over my lupus for a long time. And it was just because I can't control it.
Right.
Like I literally have been to doctors and they be like, this is the worst pair of hips I ever seen. You look 90. This is the worst case of lupus I've ever seen. And I still have my doctor. He's in Birmingham because he's the only person that took me seriously. I went to church one day and this man was at my church. He on the deacon board. And so I was like, I got to get in and get an appointment with him. And he talks to me. He calls me as if he my granddaddy. He's getting ready to retire soon. I get sad about it because I know I'm going to have to get another doctor. He's going to recommend somebody. But it's just, I didn't have control over my body. At 25, I couldn't drive. I had a walker, a bedazzled walker now. But trust me, it was. I spent time because I didn't have nowhere to go. But I bedazzled my walker, and when they said I could walk, it took me 25 minutes to get out of my apartment. But believe you me, I got in my Kia Sorrento, and I don't care if I went to Publix and back. Publix was close. Like literally from right here
it was like the mall.
From right here to like where Old Navy is close. So I would drive over there and I would drive back and be like, I drove today. And they told me I wasn't gonna drive, but wasn't going nowhere. And so
those little things.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
I took that and I was just like you said, people see me all the time and they be like, you don't have lupus.
Ain't nothing
like
wrong
you don't
with
look like, yes. But the same people come visit me in the hospital and it's just like, I live because I almost didn't live.
Right.
A lot of times. I have had 29 evasive surgeries. 29. I've had lupus just as long as I've been alive, half my life. So to me, it's a testimony. I don't care what you see me doing, but it's a testimony that you can do. And I'm finna say this, and I don't care what nobody say about it, but it is a testimony when you see me and back that thing up, come on. And I lose all control.
Right there.
That's gonna forever be my song. That's gonna forever be me. Like that's how bad, I just want to live.
Yeah.
I live because I've been close. I've been close. They have come and told me it's nothing else we can do. You don't understand nothing else we can do.
Amen.
And you're still in pain.
Yeah.
Is nobody else to call.
Right.
And I just have to say, I thank God that I found hearing what my mama say because she was always praying and she was always telling me to pray. She strengthened my relationship with God. I believe I have just as strong a relationship with God as she does, but it's different because when I was pregnant with Mackenzie, she's a miracle baby. Let me tell you this. The entire time I was pregnant, I talked to Jesus and I talked to her. Don't come here acting crazy because I have lupus and I'm not going to be able to chase you. Be calm. And I'm no, but I'm saying, Mama, I took what my mama was saying and I was like, you have to tell him what you want.
Yeah.
And I did that every day. And I my hand to him right now, Mackenzie is so peaceful. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I did that from an early age. I ain't know what to do with no baby. I wasn't trying to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And then I was old. Everybody was like, you 31, you finna have a baby. So what? And
Because that was a blessing for you.
She is a 9-year-old testimony after they told me for 10 years that I couldn't get pregnant. Got pregnant on accident, but it was a blessing and a miracle. And I talked to that baby every day. I talked to the Lord every day. Then when she came here broke. I'm talking about crying out. When I took her from the hospital, crying all night. She had been in the hospital for 5 days, ain't cried not one time. I called my mom. I said, Mama, something wrong with her. Something is wrong with her. And she told me to go where I was at the most while I was pregnant with her and just lay her down right there and just get your peace right there. I laid the baby down on the side of the bed where I used to be laid down there while I was pregnant with her and hurting. And she laid there and went to sleep. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I had already told you I don't want this baby to come here acting no fool because I can't deal with her and lupus. I was so scared because I was like, who gonna give her a bath?
Yeah.
Who gonna bend over and pick her up if my back hurting and all this? And God allowed me for 4 months of her life, the first 4 months of her life, to be fully tentative with her. It was me and her. I was able to breastfeed. I was able to do everything. And it wasn't nobody but me and her. I wasn't calling nobody. I was just spending time with her. And now I feel like the foundation of just that 4 months, like she'll go over your house if she know you. But she gonna be like what my mama is. Like, and I just love that blessing about my life because I just don't understand how I could have survived without her.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. It was a miracle right in my face. And so I couldn't do nothing but forever. Thank God. Like I literally went to church and was told, like, you know, just all of these things that people speak onto your life. And I was just like, nah, that ain't me.
Right.
Because I felt like you're trying to tell me.
Create your own.
Yeah, you're trying to tell me to be a minister. I can't be a minister or the usher. I got to do what I'm ready to do. And I just found that my calling is just, you know, being a platform and speaking the truth to people when I encounter them, being able to give them whatever it is that they ask of me, because people ask me all the time about lupus, all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you really want to talk about it? Because it's
right.
on my side, it's really scary and really bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, from your side, you know, you haven't had it as long as me. So you got all these treatments, but you got to think about 20 years of we don't know what to do. Just give us some prednisone. And I'm prednisone for 7 years. Now I have avascular necrosis in my hip.
That's why your hips like
and
that.
need a hip replacement.
Yep.
From 7 years.
7 years.
About 5 to 7 years of taking prednisone, steroids. Yeah. And it break down your bones.
And I'm gonna say this. Don't get me wrong. You know, if you have to take the medicine, if your doctors have, you know, put you on certain things and you know that you have to take them, do it. When I first got diagnosed and those 32 pills that I was on, I didn't have a choice. It was either take them or die. Like, what you want to do, right? And I remember it was somebody that he was my heart at the time. But I remember some
shade.
No shade. Because you know what, I have nothing but love for everybody, right? But I say at the time because
book a Samsung.
I'm gonna tell you what it got back to me that it was said, oh, Felicia just around here diagnosing herself, ain't nothing wrong with her. The way that Heather was expressing how she felt when people didn't come to visit her, the pain that it feels when people don't get it. They don't understand. They don't believe you. And that crushed me because it wasn't just that person. It was other people that really didn't believe it. And when I had my surgery and everything, when you have a serious injury or a serious illness, when you have lupus magnifies whatever that situation is. So if I have a cold, I don't just have a cold.
Yep. Now you got the flu.
Right.
You had pneumonia. They're gonna put you in the hospital for you.
So during that time, I could barely walk. I would lay in the bed and scream and cry. And if it was not for my mama, I am grateful to God for my mother. Shout out Nancy, Merle, Hamilton, Shepherd, Young. Love you, Mom. Like, if it was like, she would come to the door and just like, what is it? What can I do? And there was nothing that she could do because I was just in so much pain. right?
Mhm.
And
Ooh.
I remember I would go to church and I didn't do my hair. I was just there. I was just happy to be out the hospital, but still trying to cope. But then as I started trying to, her name is Kalila Burton. Y'all know Dr. K. Shout out K. She said, baby, I know you going through. She said, but don't you?
Don't you come out the house
She
like
said,
that,
"Don't
Mom.
you come back up in here looking like that no more." Because that wasn't who I was, and I
Right.
needed that. She was a friend that could say that to me because
Mhm.
she had been in the hospital to check on me. She had been texting me. She had been
Yeah,
calling
so
me.
she knew.
She knew, and that was the little bit of encouragement that I needed. Even though I didn't feel like getting dressed and I didn't feel like putting on clothes, I started doing it, and I would remember just sitting there, right? And as God started restoring me and restoring me, I remember saying, whenever I can start using these two legs again and these feet and move around like I want to, baby, you ain't got to worry about me sitting down. So when you see me dancing, she talking about back that up. But baby, when little Boosie set it off,
Oh my
or
God. You
little
don't be
Boosie
you do
wipe
not
me
be
down,
setting it
come
off.
on, whatever,
You do not be
whatever
setting it
apple,
off.
Like, she
whatever
do
apple.
dance.
Yes.
What ticket? Because
Yes.
I need to see you to set it off. I need to see how you set it
Listen,
off,
no,
friend.
We might end the night like this since y'all like to dance and I can't dance.
I gotta
I love to do
see
it
it.
anyway.
I
We
gotta
might
see
end
it.
with
love
the
to
dancers
dance.
tonight. Listen, I hope in case anybody just joined in, let me remind you what we're talking about. We are talking about living
Mhm.
with lupus. Let me put some exclamation points on that again. Living exclamation 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 with lupus. And I have two ladies here with me tonight who decided to live with lupus. Y'all know I fuss and get on to y'all all the time about having no ailments, no diagnoses, no pain, no nothing at all. And you have decided to stop living. You have decided to isolate yourselves in the house and not get out and do anything, not even so much as to dance and move and do something, even if in your own home with your own family. I challenge each and every one of you tonight, when you are capable of doing something, get up and do it. Get up and be active. Get up and be social. Get up and spend time with your family because you don't know when there might come a day when you may not be able to. We take these little things that we are able to do for big granted. Okay. But thank God for big God who has brought both of these ladies through so much so they can sit here tonight and share with you their stories, being totally transparent, hopefully encouraging somebody that may have just got diagnosed with lupus or who has lupus but may not be living with lupus. Now, like we said, we know that some people, everybody deals with lupus. It affects everybody differently. We get that. But whenever you are able to do something, we want you to get out, get up, and do something.
Yeah. And if you need encouragement, because it mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and not just physically, lupus is a bear of a whole nother ball game. I have one friend and lupus has taken her through. I couldn't even imagine going through some of the stuff that she's going through. She's been in and out of the hospital. Then I remember a young man who had it right when I got diagnosed. It affected skin. His skin got dark. So there's so many variations of it, and it does so many different things to you. And if you need encouragement, call me, look me up. I got you. If you want to cry, if you want somebody to talk to, if you just need somebody to be there, give me a call. Like that's where Encourage Your Heart was birthed from. Right.
Okay.
From lupus, from that dark place. Then my brother dying, and then another thing I want to make sure people know about lupus. You see people like Heather, you see people like me, and we do all we can to live a stress-free life because stress is lupus's kryptonite. When you get stressed out, it's like a plague. It's like Superman running up to what's that man name? Lex Luthor. And it folds you up, it takes you under, and it affects your body in some ways, and it affects your mind. It really does. And so listen, if you need somebody to talk to, you got Trish, You got me. Heather got an Apple phone, so she might not be available.
Oh, I'm gonna be
But
always
you
available
can-
because they can FaceTime me, baby. They can blue message me, like all that. AirDrop me some. No,
Call-
the Samsung don't do that.
Call somebody, talk to somebody, get with somebody, pray, get with your pastor, get with a friend, but reach out to somebody to help you through what you're going through, because lupus can affect your mental health. And even if it's not lupus, like Trish said, whatever you're going through, get with somebody so that you can get the help that you need to get your mind in a place of shift. And baby, best believe God got you too. Right? Reach out to Jesus, talk to him. He got you. I promise you he does.
And as I said, I have had so many patients who were diagnosed with lupus, some who were not able to continue working. And that takes, especially if it's somebody who is used to working.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had patients who worked 2 or 3 jobs all their lives, and they did it because they really enjoyed working that much. And then to wake up one day and now you're not able.
Your independence is gone.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they like her husband were they were still fine financially, but it was just the fact that she was no longer able to do what she enjoyed doing. I'm telling you, we take so much for granted when we don't have it. How about you? Tell me some of your. She got to
charge her iPhone. I do got to charge her iPhone.
I do got to charge my iPhone because I want to see what's going on. Like, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Tell me about some of your play. You told me that you've been on the news before. You've been on different podcasts, so you do a lot of speaking and encouraging and educating on lupus.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I just tell my story raw and uncut. I say, you know, usually I talk about the things like what we talked about, like what brought me to lupus. But one thing I did really want to say is I always first and foremost thank God for every opportunity that I get to talk about lupus or encourage somebody about lupus, just because my battle is so different. And I've just like I don't want to encounter anybody that has lupus as bad as me, because I would feel horrible.
Yeah.
But most of the people that I encounter is not as severe, and so at times it frustrates me. But I still, you know, will encourage them, tell them the stuff that I have to say, what I've been through. But it's also sometimes, you know, like you said, mentally, it's disheartening because it's like, you know, well, why my lupus ain't like that?
Right.
Like, you know, I have family members, I have people that are married into my family, but also, you know, just family members that have lupus and they don't have it as severely as I do. I only know one other person, my other cousin, who, you know, we have the same struggles. We text back and forth. Like when I'm in the hospital, she like, what they say it is now? What medicine they're giving you? Like we that's how aggressive both of ours are. So I connect with her on that level. Hey, Brittany. But I just, you know, I always thank God. I thank God for the platform. I started a nonprofit organization called 53 and 5 and had the first lupus walk in Pritchard. And that was, for me, that was like a really big eye opener. A lot of people came, a lot of people supported, but the things about it that lasted, like people reaching out after that, was what really meant a lot, because a lot of people, you know, wanted to talk about it and wanted to, you know, hear more about it. And so I, you know, gained a lot of, I would say, you know, mental comfort that I didn't have before with talking to people about it, expressing, you know, just like why I am the way that I am. Because like you said, people see me all the time and they're just like, no, you know, you don't, even when I'm sick, unless you really know me, you're gonna be like, she just got her glasses on today. She ain't wear no makeup. Cause like I can't see. But you got to get this makeup. So I ain't wear my glasses. So I mean, but people do that all the time, and it's just like, to me, that's the most frustrating part, because it's like a role. You know, people see you and they feel like you're supposed to be a specific way.
And you gotta look sick.
Yeah,
And what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, my
What
mom, when she got sick, people would come to that. Like she was dying, and they would come and I would tell her, you know, what the doctor said, blah blah blah. It's not gonna be that long. Well, she don't look sick. Like,
And
why
it's
she
like,
gotta
what
look
do
sick?
sick?
It's
What
like,
do sick look like? Like, I'm
what a
supposed
blessing though to be able to
not look
live
sick.
and not look sick, especially when you got, my mom had God all over her, so there was no reason for her to look sick, because she was always like living Christ. So people don't have to look sick
Yeah,
to
and
be
that,
sick.
That's when that statement, I don't look like what I've been through,
or
is
what I'm going
relevant,
through.
right? Or when I look back over my life, like sometimes you hear those cliches, you hear those statements, and you know, people are like, oh, okay. But when I hear them statements, like that's a reflection. Like when I look back, like I was supposed to be dead, right? Like a couple of times, but God, and I'm still here. And I can not only be here to help somebody else, to talk to somebody else, but now I have a platform with Encourage Your Heart to be able to encourage people. That's how you and I met, through Encourage Your Heart.
Tell them about Encourage Your Heart.
So Encourage Your Heart is it's a ministry that God birthed in me through this whole process that I've been going through. And so I do a lot of talking to people about grief, not just grief in reference to death. I'm talking about grieving your life. What we're talking about, the things that we're going through, you grieve in things like this. If you've lost your freedom, if you've lost your home, finances, if you're going through certain things, you may be grieving something. And so Encourage Your Heart is a ministry that we come and we have different we used to meet once a week, and it was for people to come in and just have a safe place to not feel judged, but to be able to talk about what it is that they're going through, and then we together talk about different things that'll be able to help you and motivate you to get to the next level. And then my brother's death anniversary was on the 2nd of April. That was when I premiered my podcast called Encourage Your Heart. And that is a place where people can come. The way you hear me now, the way you see me, that's what you get on that podcast. But it's also a way to not only encourage you, but give you practical living, a practical breakdown of the word, and so that you can apply it to your life. But to also know that, like, we're still human. We're still people with real life situations, with real life issues that are trying to go little bit by little bit, moment by moment. And so with Encourage Your Heart, it is a platform for anybody that needs encouragement, that anybody who's grieving, anybody who needs someone to help them get to the next moment. And our saying is, with Encourage Your Heart, moment by moment, we heal together. And that's what I'm here for, to help people heal. Because I can't do it without somebody else. Like seeing Heather and knowing just how bad her lupus is, that gives me strength. You know what I'm saying? Because my hips are good. And she's still walking around doing what she's doing with her hips and still looking flawless and doing it. That's a blessing, right?
Push through.
Yes, my friend Sonia, I love her to death, but to know the struggles that she's went through and what she's going through, when I see her, there's a joy that jumps up inside of me because she's still here fighting that fight. I don't know what she's going through, and my heart hurts for her because her lupus is so much more severe than mine. You know what I'm saying?
We are so much more connected. She used to be my neighbor when I stayed in apartments in Fairhope, and her and my mom were friends.
Really?
And with Tierra and all of
and she, hey boo boo,
and she reaches out to me when she's sick and stuff too, because her, like I said, her and my mom were tight.
Yeah. And she's just, but she's such an inspiration because she goes through so much and trying to stay positive mentally and stuff. And I don't know what she's going through. You don't know what she's going through, but we have an idea because we know what lupus is. And so the struggles are just real. And so what I would say to anybody who has a family member that has lupus, a friend, or you know somebody, be kind and be gentle to them. And not only that, get to understand and know what lupus is for yourself. It's very important that you learn what it is. For me, what I eat affects me. It affects me 150%.
Because of inflammation.
Because of the inflammation that lupus be like, rah, you know what I'm saying? But like, for example, I ended up with COVID. Did you ever get COVID?
Yeah, 3 times.
I got COVID one time and it felt like a regular day. Isn't that terrible? It felt like a regular day with lupus. There was nothing.
I had to go
different.
to the hospital. So yeah, like all that hiding I did from it. I ended
and it
up
still
getting
creeped
it.
up on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I got vaccinated. And then I got it again, and then it wasn't as bad. Then everybody in our house got it. And so then I again got it, but by then I had my booster, and like it was just like a walk in the park.
Like
But the very first time, it was like I had what do you call it? Those like at the senior citizen place.
Alzheimer's?
No, the sundowners. Like I would at night. At night, it would just at 9 o'clock, around 9 o'clock, it would just get up on me. I had to spend the night in the bathroom. Like I would be throwing up, wouldn't even eat any food. The light bothered me, sounds bothered me. Like I was living in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then I eventually went to the hospital and they gave me like a breathing treatment. But they was pretty much like, is nothing you can do. We quarantine you in here with all these other people that are here for COVID, but then you have lupus as well. Like, what we supposed to do?
Right.
And Thomas was looking at me like, if you don't go back home or whatever you got. And I went back home and tried to nurse myself, but I had long COVID because I have lupus. And so it lasted for 2 weeks.
Wow. For me, anytime someone asks me what lupus is like, how does it feel? That's my analogy. I say, have you ever had COVID? Do you remember how you felt whenever you were fatigued? Do you remember how you felt when you were just tired? Like fatigue is real. Like I have chronic fatigue. I don't know about you, but I have chronic fatigue. And sometimes it'll hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just feel like wherever I'm at, I just want to climb up wherever I'm at and just go to sleep. I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I just want to rest. And then I start getting irritable because I'm tired and I got to push through that and do this and I got to do that. And it's just like, it is a lot. And if you don't get a grasp of it mentally and emotionally, it will take you under. Because think about it, when you feel good in your mind, your mind controls your thoughts. As a man thinketh, so is he. So if I'm thinking about how bad I feel and I'm contemplating it and I'm meditating on that all day, and I don't shift gears to say, okay, I feel bad, but you know what? I'm about to shift my mind over here. So that's why music, or that's why reading or having other outside activities is beneficial, because you're able to do things that takes your mind off of what you're going through.
You gotta have some pleasant distractions
and
some good inspiration. So if you guys aren't already following Hija de Jimenez on Facebook every morning for my blogs or vlogs, please do. HIJADEJIMENEZ, Hija de Jimenez, or Journey with Trish on Facebook. When was the lupus walk? What month was that in?
May.
And so
That's
are you having
month.
it again this May?
Yeah. It's in the works.
It's very good.
I'm gonna walk with you, friend. Okay?
It's in the works.
Yes. So we need to make sure everybody gets tagged in those. So you guys get ready for the lupus walk in May. What else is what can we do as a community? What can we do as far as educating or not being more judgmental, getting things like what can we do as a community for lupus? Suffering with lupus.
I think like a lot of people, initially think of a walk, but I just feel like for me, I think like, basically what she was saying, that mental support. And I feel like, comfort and support and, just talking about it with somebody is the most important. I can honestly say, because I don't do that. I talk to other people about stuff, but like I don't, like ever let anybody talk to me about it.
You can always call me.
I know that now. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like it's hard because people listen, but then it's like you haven't heard. Yeah, you haven't heard what I really said. Yeah. And like I was saying before, it's just a lot of it's dark. It is. It's really dark. It can be. Yeah. It's dark where I was. And so it's hard for people to be like, oh, that happened to you. But it's just like it did. Like I've had emergency surgeries where I've had to decide right then. And it's just like being young and thinking that you have all this time to do stuff and you're about to have an emergency surgery that could potentially in your life. Like that's different. And so when people see me being carefree and nonchalant about a lot of things, it's because the joy in my heart is just so big and thankful for life, because I've been close to not life.
Right. And I'm telling you, people who have been through something, I always say are the happiest people. It's something about surviving something.
When you're appreciative,
Yes,
and grateful
yes.
for it.
Mhm.
And I will say this: you ask, what can we do as a community? As a community, we can get involved. How do we get involved? Where? Just start somewhere. Like if you're watching this podcast, okay, you got Heather, you got myself. There's lupus foundations. I know Coach King, his wife, and his mother, they have a foundation, right?
Walk.
There's lupus awareness that they have a walk they just had.
LSK.
Yeah.
They had it.
You can get involved
March,
in
May.
that. And not just that, start learning about it. Start learning about it. It is so, I don't know the statistics of it, but it's so high in Black women. It is outstandingly high in women
Black
of color.
people,
Right.
Anyway, we're affected by it. Men are starting to get affected
Yeah.
by it. And because it's so extensive and undetectable, it's like people will say, oh, you have arthritis. Oh, you
Right.
you
They'll-
have
It does,
osteoporosis.
like, you go through so many things before you actually get
Yeah.
diagnosed.
Yeah, you do.
Well, because you have to have, if I'm not mistaken, it's either 4 or 5 factors, right? So like, let's say you have rheumatoid problems, right? And let's say you have muscle aches, and let's say you have a couple of different things. If all 5 of the factors are not there, you don't have lupus. You might have fibromyalgia. And they throw everything in the bucket of fibromyalgia because you don't have all of the factors. That's the sad part. So it's a lot of people that's walking around here with lupus and don't even realize they have it. It's a lot of people walking around here with an autoimmune disease. And let me be clear, lupus is an autoimmune disease. There are a lot of autoimmune diseases out there. Rheumatoid arthritis, they hurt just as bad, right? Fibromyalgia, they hurt. You have people with Crohn's disease. You have people with the Hashimoto. So that's what I mean when I say get involved. Learn what an autoimmune disease is, because you may find something that you didn't know was an autoimmune disease that somebody else has. Another thing that we can do as a community, start eating better. A lot of the things that we eat have a lot of the chemicals and things in it that actually help us get these sickness and illnesses that we have, right? So if you know somebody has lupus or another autoimmune disease, well, autoimmune diseases, they thrive off of inflammation. And if they come into your house, don't make me no fried chicken.
Yeah.
Don't make me no collard greens with pig feet and all that.
I had high blood pressure.
Me too.
I started eating beets and for a long time, and then drinking prune juice to try to get my high blood pressure down. And I don't eat fried food just for rewards. Like I eat pork chops. I mean, when I'm at work, shout out to the food truck in front of Flavors. But I eat pork chops every now and then. But everything else I cook at my house is baked.
Clean eating.
And I don't. Like I just don't try to. I indulge. I overindulge in crawfish, gourmet lollipops, and what else do I?
Well, see, you can't not enjoy your life.
I know.
And take
I know
out.
that. But I'm just saying, it's some stuff that it got me in a chokehold.
Me too.
Still.
No, that's what I'm saying. Me too.
I eat, right, and everything, and it's just like. Like you said before, your body can reject stuff. My body rejects doing right. My body rejects exercise. It just does what it want to do. And so in the morning when I get up, I literally get up 30 minutes before I get up.
You have to
because
stretch.
I have to, and not even that, because my leg don't work. Like the avascular necrosis up on that hip.
It's a process.
And so I get out the bed. And I walk it out, and then if I put my clothes on and it's locked up, I walk it out a little bit more, and I go on to school. And it's just like people look at me and be like, if I get up from my desk and I walk to the copier, it's literally like from here to there, and I might limp over there. And they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I just be like, "I got lupus," and then they be like, "Oh."
For me, I got I can't. What was I about to say?
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Something about lupus.
So
It was something about lupus. It was something about
fog.
lupus, girl.
It's the fog. See, that's what I was about to say. The brain fog. Brain fog is like Alzheimer's. Boy, I forget
it's like
everything.
No shade to anybody else that might be watching, but it's like I be blind like all the time. Like I have little moments and I be like,
right.
I'm dingy. But then I just be like, oh no, I'm not. And then I go on by my day, and then I try to get myself together. But like I do have moments where I'm like,
total blind.
what was that?
Right.
And then the next few minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm good.
Right.
And I don't even, like you said, don't even remember that you did it.
Not at all.
All right, everybody. Listen, this time went by really, really, really quick. And it was because we had some people who had some stuff that they needed to say. That's right. And I'm glad they were able to share it with you tonight. And for those of you who are going to come back and watch it later, I hope you learned something. Tex said something on Facebook today. He said, stop asking people, if I do this, y'all gonna come? He said, stop asking them that and just do it. He said that. He said that. And, you know, I can't tell you, though, how many times, and I think we've even talked about it before, when we have health fairs at churches or things or places in Baltimore County, people don't show up. And I don't really understand that, because most of the things that we are talking about that at health fairs happen in our community more so than any other community. You know, hypertension, lupus, diabetes, sickle cell anemia. These are the things that we talk about at health fairs. And if we're the ones who are suffering the most, how come we are the ones who are showing up the least at these health fairs? So I'm going to say, because you know me, I'm always going to put myself out there for something I don't really have time to do, but it needs to happen. Like, we do need to have a health fair. So I'm going to figure out, either I'm going to figure out the next church that's having a health fair and collaborate with them and get some of my colleagues to come and help set up at some of your health fairs. So again, reach out to me if you have a health fair that's coming up. I am willing to come and show up. However, I don't want to come show up and just talk. You know, I guess, you know, I always say, if I just reach one person, I get that. But let's be real. I want more than one person to come to a health fair, especially when it's so important. We do have to do a better job as a community when it comes to being educated about different medical illnesses that we might not be going through right now, but we are so at risk for going through. Okay. So that is another take home for tonight. If you see somebody having a health fair,
go.
We already just said education is what's needed. Churches, if you're having a ladies event or any kind of event at your church where you need speakers, you have two people. You have one person that speaks on grief. She speaks on end of life planning. She speaks on lupus. You speak on lupus. I speak on mental health, inspirational speaker, any kind of medical diagnosis. You have people at your access that can help you at these events, but you got to reach out. You got to let us know, and you got to plan, and don't wait until 3 days before to call us about those events, though. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining.
Let me get my shout outs.
Oh, her shout outs, and then, but we got to back that thing up too.
We are, but
and
set it off because she playing, and I got to see this set it off. But anyway,
music tonight.
Anyway, hold on.
Off the show.
I just want to say thank you to Sequoia for my beautiful earrings. Everybody look at my earrings. They was covered up by my headphones, but these are my ear beads, and they look good. And I would also like to send a shout out to Miss Carrie at the dance studio, Finesse Fit Boutique. This is where my wonderful, beautiful blazer came from. And I want to give a shout out to my barber, Montia, at Flukes. He got these waves under control. Shout out to my dad and
I'm gonna have to come see you, Fluke.
Shout out to my dad and them at the barbershop on 64 on Bailey's Lane, Adrian's Barbershop. Hey, Daddy. Hey, BA. And I want to shout out to my boo. And I want to shout out to Mackenzie. She should be asleep, though. But Mackenzie, hey. And I also want to give a shout out to my entire family for all the support that they give me, lifting me up. I'm excited about still being home. I'm excited about life. And I just feel like this right here was the beginning of a connection that I feel like can reach out to people. Like she said, regardless if you have mental health or if you need to talk about grief, or you can just call me because I'm the homie. And you can talk to me about anything, and I can talk to y'all about anything. But the main focus is don't treat people with lupus like they're not normal people, and don't look down on us because we're living life but still battling with lupus. Because like I said, come May 23rd, I would be having lupus for 20 years, battling, surviving, and you see me. You see how I look. You see what I'm doing. You see the effort that I give. You too can do the same thing, regardless of what you're going through. But don't look like what people think you're supposed to look like while you're struggling with a disease.
Right.
Lift yourself up because, like I said, I've been in some places where it ain't been nobody but me and Jesus T. Christ. Shout out to the Lord.
Amen.
But
Hallelujah.
I always live by Isaiah 53:5, and that is, I'm gonna be healed one day. By His stripes, I'm gonna be healed.
And even if you're not healed right now, speak that over your life. There is power. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. So you can speak blessings over your life and you can speak curses. And let me tell you something. It ain't nothing but blessings coming out of my mouth. Even when I'm hurting, I'm still healed. Even when I don't feel good, I'm still healed. Even when the doctor say you got congestive heart failure, I'm still healed. Stage 3 renal failure, I'm still healed. I'm still blessed. I may walk with a limp. I may pull one leg and drag the other, but best believe I'm up and I'm walking and I'm still healed. You have to get that so deep down in your soul that even if you don't say it, you believe it with everything that's within you. And that is when your healing comes, is whenever you truly, truly, truly surrender it and give it all to Christ and let Him know, I need you. And He gonna be with you. Even with the pain, He's still with you. Because guess what? It could be worse. It could be so much worse.
And I always say, you got to believe it more than the people praying for you believe it, you know, because we can pour all the prayers into you, but you got to believe it because it's you. Like you're the one who is at the end of the day, it's you that are dealing with whatever you're dealing with. So you gotta be the one that stay positive.
Yeah.
You know, and be specific. Be specific in what you're asking the Lord for.
Yes.
So a flyer, and then we're gonna turn up.
I'm gonna get a Mentos.
She said a Mentos.
It is. I dropped my other one on the floor.
The tea. June 17th in Daphne, Alabama is when we are going from tea to turn. Okay. So if you haven't already got your tickets, head over to www.healthsister.com. You can get your tickets there. Tickets are $70, $75 per person. There is a flyer. Myself and Eunice C. Mingo will be hosting and speaking. Tech will be DJing. Potaholics will be there. I still can't see. Lots of people will be there, and I just can't see. We got Restoration Fellowship, the praise team. Some of their members are going to be there, and Deliverance Ministries of Jesus Christ. Some of their praise dancers are going to be there. So we are going from tea to dirt. We have a good time.
Your Mentos was hard.
We're gonna start off with some inspiration, and then we're gonna have a good time. The theme this year is never, ever be bound again. So even when you are living with lupus, you are not bound. Okay. And next week, I'm so excited about next week's episode. I said, you didn't get the flyer?
It's on there now, but you don't see it yet.
Oh, I don't see it yet. So next week, it is hip hop's 50th birthday, and I love me some hip hop. I'm from the Bronx, right? So next week we having our podcast, and it is Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, and we will have DJ. We got who we got on there? DJ Tech, DJ Black. We got Sham, and then we got Big Rap from Big Rap Radio, who will be joining me on the podcast next week. And that topic is Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. So, everything I do is going to be tied into mental health in some way. So we're going to talk about those Saturday mornings when your mama got up and turned on the music and started cleaning, and how these DJs became some of the greatest DJs across the coast. And just some different topics. So make sure you join us next week for Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. What song we got first before we? So y'all don't leave because we're getting ready to have a dance contest.
Ain't no contest.
I'm be the judge.
Not the dance contest.
I'm be the judge. What we playing first?
Set it off because I want to see. I want to see her set it off.
Finna set it off.
So okay. Ask your dad. Shout out to Mr. Adrian.
Oh,
But you asked your daddy, and Coach said, shout
Oh,
out to
my
Seth and all them, and Jamie. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Whitney. And my babies. Let me shout. Can I shout my babies out real
You
quick?
got 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. All right.
I mean, 1 minute.
My babies, I love you all. I appreciate you, Cameron, Keontae, Elena, Chris, Jay, my grandbabies, Ezra, and Camden. Okay, I just want to shout
and
out
she
my
ain't
babies.
gonna call y'all on that Samsung.
Oh, yes. And to all the Apple lovers, I love you guys. But to my Samsung people, Misha, Kay, come on. Woo, 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 woo.
Blue messages, blue messages,
Find y'all
blue
some
messages.
friends. Surround yourself with friends like Kalila Burton that
Yes,
showed up at the hospital.
yes.
Kalila Burton that showed up at the hospital. Okay. Let's go. Set it off. Let's go. Just stand up. Can't dance in the chair.
I can dance
Oh.
anywhere, baby.
We want you to get up.
I
Set it
gotta
off.
take this off. Oh, I can't hear it. See?
Oh, they can't hear it?
Put your hand, headphones on. You want to talk?
Oh,
You want to run your mouth? You want some gangsters front your? We'll set this bitch off.
hey. We'll set this. They call me. Oh, he done turned that off.
Oh,
That's your
Oh.
song.
oh, oh.
That's your song.
Oh,
Get low with it. Get low. Get low with it. Hey, 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 hey.
You ain't shut up to them folks that play with. Hey, 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 hey,
You
hey.
can ride in the jacket
with that there, you can smoke up out your bag.
Hey, now say You gotta wipe me down. Wipe me down.
We got our personal DJ. Go, cuz.
Y'all remember whenever we was at quarantine that DJ Tech was playing all that
I
music?
know, DJ Tech, listen, he brought us through the quarantine, baby. Listen to my pillow. All right, here we go. Ready to wipe me down? Give me some more chords. Okay, then. Okay, then. Oh,
You gotta wipe me down.
And you gotta play the remix with it, right? Oh, shit. Ham.
It ain't loud enough.
We still
you ain't got Johnny with you, okay?
Club VIP, gas tank on, even without drinks on me.
wipe it out. Fresh kicks, fresh white tall teeth.
Fresh NFL hat, fresh bows with the crease. Wipe it out.
Who coming on Journey with Trish next? Just let me know.
Real, recognize,
You ain't
real.
gonna dance
Don't speak.
to these songs? I don't come. I don't come.
Oh, it's a remix.
Black shade, so you know what.
They ain't check me at the door, so ain't no telling what I'm holding. Bet they gon' bust it wide open.
Only on Journey with Trish. That's right, yeah. Because we do not own the rights to this music. Listen, thank you everybody so much for joining us tonight on Journey with Trish. We will see you next week.
Like Ted
Wait,
said,
somebody
we
got to pray it.
I got it. Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to be with
Connect.
one another.
Connect.
We thank you, Lord God, for your grace, your mercy, your unmerited favor. God, we thank you for giving us this testimony to be able to bring to everybody else, because they need to know that we never would have made it. We wouldn't be healed. We wouldn't be coming before them today had it not been for you, for your son down on that cross for us. And so because of your son, because of every stripe that he was beaten, we know that we are healed by his stripes. And we thank you for what you're about to do. Now, God, I ask that you go for everyone that we've mentioned, or everyone that has a sickness or a disease or an ailment that's living with lupus. I ask that you cover them. I ask that you guide them, touch their minds, oh God. In the name of Jesus, give them direction, oh God. Give them a peace in their heart and a peace in their mind that surpasses all understanding in the name of Jesus. You know what we're going through. You know what we're dealing with, and you know what we're up against. But out of all things, we know that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And we know that you got us. So continue to give us the strength that we need and cover us in your blood. Now, as we leave this place, oh God, cover us as we get to our destination, and bring us back safely at the appointed time. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
In
Amen.
Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. We love you. God bless y'all. Good night.
Bye.